Time to get ready for my first trail half marathon. I'm gonna drink some coffee first. Okay.
Locked. Why is it locked? It's so beautiful. Good luck, very well.
Thank you.
There goes Will. That's me. Mario.
The Grand Prix Series, we appreciate it. Pretty excited to see the level of competition in the 10K in particular being part of that Grand Prix. Also, like Tom O'Grady's got the Indian Ladder shirt on, which was an awesome event. We should have come back. I'm right here at Thacher Park. Come on in. Man, John on trails. John Lindenauer. Oh, boy. Let's see what happens out there today. If you're going to... We're going to get started in about 2.5 minutes. Start filling on in, make friends. Less than 2 minutes to go. At this time, everybody is entering. Ready, set,
Where's that?
go!
This is it. How many spectators? Final predictions though, what's your time? 40 minutes. How long you been here? Okay, good. That was not.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the new apartment. That was the Thacher Trail Half Marathon, some sights and sounds. I'm going to fill in some of the blanks now with kind of an overview of the event itself, how it went for me, and then finally I'm going to give you a couple little takeaways and kind of my final remarks on things. So Thacher State Park is a beautiful state park about 30 minutes from here. I live in Albany. It's got, big cliffs. There's even some rock climbing. They've got a full limestone rock climbing wall, that might mean something to you if you climb. But aside from that, beautiful views. You can see a lot of the Mohawk, Hudson River Valley, and even the Adirondacks if you're looking to the north. But so it's a beautiful state park. I would come even if you don't want to do the race sometime, just come and run some trails. It's a beautiful, beautiful park. The event itself did do a 10K. I ran the half marathon. They do a full and a 50K. A little bit odd. Everyone starts at the same time, same place. So you're kind of running alongside all these distances. Take that with a grain of salt. I'll mention it one more time later on. But yeah, the event itself, I can speak to kind of the half trails, entirely on trails. You cross one paved road, probably honestly, 80% of it is kind of single track, very rooty, big mud patches. You do cross a stream once out and back. So it kind of has the full, I would say, trail experience. That being said, this is the first time I've raced on trails. I used to run a lot of trails. I spent a couple of years down in North Carolina running trails, but never competed. So it was fun to participate in kind of the trail world at an event. So yeah, that's the event itself. But yeah, I'm just going to restate, I would visit this park on your own time if you're ever passing through upstate New York and you're in the capital area, because it is beautiful. So how did this race go for me? Well, I will say I did not have any expectations for myself. I did not train on trails ahead of time. I signed up for this, 3-4 weeks ago, and I really just wanted to go out there, push myself, have a good time, and get a killer workout in. I can say that I checked all of those boxes without a doubt because I'm still sore at about 6 days out, but I could still smile at the end of it. So clearly that was a good kind of combination of things. I did use the Hoka SpeedGoat 4s. That's the only trail shoe I've got right now. It's a great shoe. I've only done about 50 miles in them, so they held up great. They were good in the mud. I will add that I saw all kinds of shoes out there, from kind of daily trainers to what looked like some kind of tempo, like endorphin speed shoes. I think that was more the 10K category. And as you worked your way up towards the 50K people, you really kind of had every category of runner, from the very casual to, that ultra runner with their vest. I mean, I wore my vest, and, a full range of trail running shoes. Looking at miles 1 through kind of 5 and 6, I will say I took it very easy. I was not kind of pushing myself. It was crowded at certain points. The single track, I finally kind of realized what doing a trail event means when you get kind of in the thick of things on some single track points, or just some large muddy portions where really you can't pass people unless you're like really going for things. So first 5-6 miles was just kind of me feeling things out, seeing how things are going. And ultimately, once you hit that 6 mile plus point, you dropped all the 10K people, things opened up, and you could really kind of start to run your own race. That being said, I will say I think lactic acid really kind of built up around mile 11. I think there was a portion a couple miles before that where I really realized, like, I kind of got a good reminder of how downhill and uphills, like uphills always stink. You expect that, but the downhills in some of these portions, you kind of forget if you don't run a lot of downhills that does just as much pounding on the quads as sometimes like the going uphill. So I had a good reminder of that. Lactic acid totally peaked around probably mile 11. I kind of felt like I was going to push for things towards the end, but in reality, it was definitely a little bit more of a struggle bus to still finish kind of strong, which was dug a little deep for that. So my final time for the whole half was 2 hours, 18 minutes, and 4 seconds. That's about a 10:35 pace, which I was really happy with. I was a bit slower on the first half and did a bit quicker on the second half. So, I mean, everyone's going to be happy with kind of the negative split in a longer race. It just means it was fairly well managed, even though I probably could have worked a bit harder in the first leg to maybe take, a minute off that, but I'm still really happy with it. To give a little bit of perspective, the winners of the half was an hour 22 and 59 seconds, and the full was 4 hours, 11 minutes, and 28 seconds. It is funny to see a full marathon winner over 4 hours, but it kind of, this is a world that I'm not so familiar with, and I'm sure for a trail marathon, 4 hours is pretty darn impressive. I know it would have completely trashed me to go, the same pace, but twice as long. And also, fun fact, the guy who won the half, he has family down in Cary, North Carolina, where I used to run. And he was wearing a Bond Brothers Brewery, like track club shirt, which is so cool. I saw him and I talked to him a little bit. Obviously congratulated him on kicking my butt. But all in all, I was really happy with my time. My one friend, Will, that I ran with, finished just before me. So everything kind of worked out. And also really cool to see some people really crush it out there. Everybody was pushing it. So as a final takeaways, we are 6 days out right now. And I will say I'm still sore. Box checked in terms of getting a really good workout in. I'm really happy I can jump into an event like this, have a good time, still be relatively competitive, and manage things and still be able to have a smile at the finish line. One maybe thing I would add in here, if you are considering doing anything at this event, the Thacher State Park Running Festival, I would just say be aware that everyone starts at the same time, and it is a little awkward, especially when things are kind of all hustle bustle the first couple miles. If you start behind people, you might end up doing some portions where you're walking, just trying to get ahead of people and find moments to pass. So I would say maybe if you're more on the competitive trail end, still a great race for you, but start ahead of maybe your predicted pace. It's not a huge race, so you can totally just walk up. There's not like corrals. So you'll be totally fine to do that. That's the only kind of grain of salt I would add in here. Overall, we'll definitely be doing it again next year. I'm happy to be able to participate in local stuff like this. And who knows, I'm very curious about actual ultra runs. And to know that there's a 50K in my own backyard is kind of interesting. I'm not going to lie. So maybe. So that is a wrap on my Thacher Trail half marathon, my first competitive trail race. It was fun. It was exciting. It was muddy. It was dirty. And I'm looking, forward to participating in similar events again. But looking forward, the next thing for me is actually a 10K just a week from now. Again, I'm just kind of throwing events in here these days. But it's a fun one. It's in my hometown. And I will actually be able to test out the Asics Magic Speed 3. I've had them for 2 weeks now, and they've just been sitting on the shelf, staring at me, wanting me to get some miles in them. So we're going to do that. Hopefully, maybe like Tuesday, Wednesday, I'll be feeling good this week. We'll get out for maybe a first impressions in them, and then look forward to that 10K on Saturday. Back on the roads. We like those roads. Let's be real. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you got something out of this video. Really appreciate anyone who's, still hanging around the channel, and, interacting, throwing comments down there. Really appreciate it. That's all for me. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out, everybody. And yes, I am wearing, this same Arsenal jersey that I wore in the last video. I promise you I have other shirts and, attire. But it was just kind of convenient. I watched the game this morning. 2-2 draw Fulham. Absolute anarchy.